G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoyed the content on my channel. If you missed the last video, the workshop renovation and expansion video, there's a link up there now. Now, this first machining video for the year will be a little problem I created myself while I was doing the renovations. So follow me here to the bench and I'll show you what I've got to do. Alrighty, so while I was getting ready to reconcrete that area where the old garden bed was, I wanted to use up some extra reinforcing bars that they'd bought and didn't use. But they were 6 metre lengths and they were bent in half, and I decided I wanted to straighten them out a little bit. So I gripped them in the vise and started pulling on it, and all of a sudden it went bang and the vise let go. And what happened was this part here, which sits down inside there, because this is a swivel vise, cracked through the two bolt holes. Now I've decided I'll use this piece of steel here, which is pretty much the same thickness, just a little thicker, so I'll just have to face it off a bit, and I will cut a piece out to make one of these out of. One of the other things I need to do is this face here on the bottom of the vise appears to be machined, but this face here doesn't look like it is. It's just a rough casting, and it never swiveled nicely. So I will face that off. This is just rough cast inside here, so I'll machine this in here a little bit more, and also this surface in here a little bit more. And also this is rough cast on the bottom where it bolts down. I'll just want to face that off. So we'll do all that in the lathe, I think. I'll machine this up in the lathe. There may not be any mill work, but I may decide to do some of it in the mill. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty, so before I kick off machining, I just wanted to point out that we should have much improved lighting now, thanks to these 3 LED lights I've got hanging in here. So let's hope that improves things a bit. Something else I'd like to mention before I start was, in the previous video, someone had suggested that when I was having problems with the X reading on the DRO, throwing up weird numbers at me, that these things are really sensitive to oil and dirt and stuff. So I've thoroughly cleaned this with some electrical contact cleaner. So we'll see if that makes a difference. Turn it on for starters, see how we go. See how it handles it. Alrighty. I've set this up, seems to be running reasonably true, so I'll face this off first. That's the first thing I'll do. A bit of heavy shake. Alrighty, what's that look like? Barely touched it. Alrighty, we'll go some more. Still not touching it all the way across. Oddly enough, oh well, I didn't check there. Before I started, I wound it up and I just brought it up till I touched one of these, and it was touching all 3 of these roughly the same all the way around. So. Still not touching all the way around. Close, but no chocolates. Well, I'm hoping that's got it. Pretty much. I think I'll call it quits of that. I won't take too much more off. I've got a feeling I've chipped that tip. No, it's not chipped. Shitty finish on there. God, that's horrible. I was thinking about running the fly cutter over that, but in the mill. But I think that'll do. I'll just run it over a bit of sandpaper and a piece of granite I got over there just to smooth it out a bit. Alright, so I'll get on to the next bit. Alrighty, so next up, there's a bit of a draft angle in here from when it was cast, so I just want to see if I can make this parallel again. Sped it up and it doesn't seem to be shaking as much. Alrighty, we'll have a look, see how that looks. I'm just trying to square that shoulder up in there a bit more. I like the way that looks, so we'll go with that. Still haven't cleaned it up completely, but I don't want to take too much out. I might take one more cut in there. Well, I think I'm going to call that part of it done, so I'll flip it around now and bore this part here, get it true. Got to be a little careful with this one because there's not a lot of clearance between the tool and that jaw, so I'll have to be a little bit careful with that. It's not taking as much cleaning up as that other bit did. Just looking to see if I've got enough room to use this to put a chamfer on the back. Yes, I do. Still a little bit there, just a bit more. That's looking pretty good, so I'll call it quits at that. Now I just need to face this part here, I'll put a little chamfer on there and we're done. Sad to say that this X over here is still jumping around like it's got ants in its pants. It's a big chocolate lab lives down the road. It's out. It's got out and it's making a nuisance of itself over the road. I'll turn that tip around. Still not quite there. Just about got it now. A little tiny bit there. But that'll do me, I think. A bit there. Righto, just this little bird there I'll just get rid of and then we'll call it quits for this part. Alrighty, so what the Chinese didn't do I finished for them. So that should make for a much nicer moving swivel. So next up I'll chop that bit of steel plate up and we'll make a, I'm not going to make it hollow like the original one, I'm going to leave it solid. So less chance of it breaking. So I'll machine it up to fit into here. Alrighty, so I said I didn't think there'd be any mill work, but after some careful consideration there's going to be a little bit, and I'll explain why after I've done this. Alrighty, so there's little bits in the corner there I didn't get, so I'll just knock them off with a file, then I'll flip this over and explain to you why I wanted to do that. Alrighty, so the reason I wanted to machine that flat was I decided that the diameter of the inside of this is a fair bit smaller than the inside of this section here. And before, when you rotated the vise on the top of this, it would flop all over the bloody place because it wasn't, you know, that retainer that was there was just sloppy in there. So I've decided I want to try and avoid that, and I want to machine out this bit in here to the same size as that, so that when I make up the piece that goes in the centre, it can protrude through slightly and locate this in here. So this will sit nice and flat on here and just rotate in there. And it appeared that that plane and this plane were not the same. I just couldn't quite get it to sit flat down inside there, but it's better now than it was, so I will machine this out in here. Now, I can't use my nice new boring head because I haven't bought a tool for it yet, and the only boring bar I have to use in it is it's fairly much sort of square on the end, so I don't know that I want to, and I really want to try and machine that down in there with that. But I might give it a go, see how it goes. I'm just going to line it up roughly with this to get it in the centre, and then I'll lift this back up, get that out of there. Hopefully I've got enough height, should have, to get that out. But I'll just use this to try and line things up. Alrighty, so as I want to do, I have changed my mind and I'm going to do it with this. Now I just did a cut down in there just to check how well centered I had it. Just a really fine cut to clean it up a little bit. And I've tapped that tool out just a little more, we'll see how we go. I'll cut it a little bigger. Got to get it out to just over 96 millimeters, and at the moment it's 94.8, 94.9. Alrighty, see how what we got. $95.5. Just a tad more. Trouble is measuring it. But I'm just going to take a stab in the dark at this. I had mentioned previously, I think, what was I making? I was making the tool, grinder, the surface grinder, that I wanted to make up a little block on an adjusting screw in it, but I don't think I could be bothered doing it just for this thing. So just a little tappy tap tap. I always take a little more, but it's a bit hard to put it back. Oh, get another 0.1. I don't know how I'm going to manage that, but anyway. I don't want to make it up to too oversized. If I put my finger on the tool as I'm tapping it, I can feel it moving, so, and it didn't move much. So fingers crossed it'll be okay. It took almost nothing out. Oh, another little tappity tap tap. Nothing scientific about this, is there? You could actually see it cutting that time, so might have taken too much. Perfect, spot on. Dirty. Alrighty, so now we can get on with making the piece to fit up inside here. Winner winner, chicken dinner.
If you've been enjoying this video up until this point, I'd really appreciate it if you'd smash that like button, give it a great big thumbs up. It really helps me to spread the love. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider helping out the channel by becoming a patron or clicking that thanks button down the bottom there. It really helps, and I'd greatly appreciate it.
Well, I don't mind telling you, that took a fair while to chomp that out of that piece of plate. I had to come at the first cut, I had to come at it twice from both sides because it wouldn't quite fit in the throat of the saw, and then I chopped all the corners off it. And anyway, it'll take me a while to knock all that down, and I won't bore you with that, so I'll bring you back, but at least got it round. Alrighty, so I'm down to the OD I was chasing, just face that off. I'll just put a quick chamfer on this outside here with that file, because it's got to be machined off again. Deburr it a bit. Beautiful. I don't want a real tight fit in there, but that's pretty nice. So, now we've got to mark that and machine a step in it to fit up the inside of here and then the bottom of the vise. Alrighty, so I've got to take about 9.5mm off this. I'm not gonna film the machining. I'm just gonna film that DMX DRO up there and show you what's going on with this crazy damn thing. I zeroed it out. Look, it's not doing anything at the moment. I'm not moving anywhere, and look at it bouncing around. I don't know what's going on there. Well, I think you're getting the idea, and this camera's kind of in my way, so I'm going to move it. Oh, that's a bummer. I had a bit of a battery issue before. I stuffed up and changed batteries and didn't put one in to be charged, and then I ended up with no charged battery because when I turned it off, about to turn it off, I realised the battery was nearly flat anyway. So I finished machining it, and everything fits quite nicely on there now. I can't check it on the vise because this bolt head's in the way, so I've got to get out of there and check that this little bit sticking out here will fit nicely up into the bottom of the vise, but hopefully it'll all be correct. Alrighty, moment of truth. I'm not going to bother machining that off there. I might just grind it off if I need to. You can see it sticks out just a little, and it doesn't stick out anywhere near as much as that is deep, so I don't think this bit in the middle is going to be an issue. I don't want to take any more off the back of this, so I'll just clean that crap off there and leave it the way it is. But a little bit of play in there, but that's okay because I want it to spin freely. So that's that done. So all I really do now is mark it for 2 new bolts, drill and tap them, and Bobby will be my uncle. The original bolts, the clamp bolts for this were M8s, I think, but I'm going to use some M10s. I might have to. I know, they fit in there pretty reasonably. It's an M10, and I'm just going to use a cap head because I found those little bolts with the lever on them to be a right pain in the bum. So it was hard to tighten them, hard to loosen them, hard to turn them. It was just a pain in the ass. So I'm going to use some cap heads this time. Anyway, so tomorrow, it's a bit late in the day, I shall mark them, those 2 holes, drill and tap them, and then we can fit it back up and it'll all be done. Righty, so I'll get in and drill them. Well viewers, there we have it, all reassembled. I put a smear of whey oil on the surfaces that make contact. That wouldn't swivel like that before. It was always a drama to try and swivel that around. It was just a pain in the bum. But that runs really nicely in there now. I'm surprised I hadn't broken this earlier because I've given this thing a right pizzling. You can see all the hammer marks in here where I use this thing as a press, and then when it won't press anymore I give it a little love tap on there with a hammer. But anyway, this was only a cheap vise, and like I said, I'm surprised it's held up as well as it has, but I'm reasonably happy with it. But that's improved it out of sight. So if you got something out of that, once again, smash that like button and give it a big thumbs up. Spread the love. Maybe someone else can benefit from modifying their vise the same way I did this, because this would be a pretty common structure for a Chinese vise, I'd reckon. But anyway, that's it, all done. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.